So I suppose this kind of carries on from what we were just chatting about, really. I when I'm thinking of the pressure that opera singers deal with because
Mm,
of the perfection that requires. We were just speaking beforehand about different singers, like rock singers or pop singers, who can have maybe a crack in their voice here and there, or some slight
mm.
imperfection that won't matter. But in opera, it's a different kettle of fish altogether. How do you is it does your amount of training remove that kind of pressure or anxiety, or is it still there when you're performing all the time?
No, it doesn't remove it at all. And like, I suppose technically, if anybody is listening that is in classical music, I trained as an opera singer, and I did that for a long time. And I was with English National Opera on a training course. Was it maybe about, gosh, I could be about 10 years ago now. And I sort of went more into the field of what's called classical crossover. So it's a little bit more merging merging the sort of the operatic training and that sort of sound with, say, other genres. So I can
Mm,
sing other genres of music, but introduce classical elements into it. But I was in opera as like a kind of blinkered opera singer for long enough to know how extraordinarily competitive it is and how extraordinarily um, difficult it is, because that perfection is, number one, it's hugely difficult to achieve. It takes, huge dedication. I mean, you cannot, if you're a full-time opera singer, you can't do anything else. I
mm,
mean, that the training and to get to that level, you need to focus on it completely. And number two, there is such the audience expects that perfection, because people listen to Pavarotti singing Nessun
mm,
Dorma, and it is the gold standard. So, you sort of, you're not going to accept anything
mm.
less than something that is, you never want to feel that when you're listening to somebody that they're struggling,
Yeah.
that in on any part of it, that there can never be a sense that the person is in any way struggling with the music, because the music is so difficult to sing. The way it's written is so difficult. The range is so big.
Mm.
The volume is so, like, you need such stamina to sing it. And that's why it's so difficult to make it as an opera singer, because if the audience hears any difficulty in what you're singing, it takes them out of that fantasy. And essentially an opera singer is creating a fantasy world. That's, opera is as much about the theater and the
Mm.
drama as it is about the voice. But the voice has to be able to cope with that extraordinarily difficult writing.
Yeah.
What I do is more now, I mean, I have sung in operas, and I loved it, and I really, really did love it. But I knew I didn't love the music so much that I was prepared to give up
Mm.
other music that
Yeah.
I liked to sing. So I'm more of a less of a Maria Callas and more of a Sarah Brightman, for
Mm.
example, um, and less of a Pavarotti and more of an Andrea Bocelli. So
Right.
Andrea Bocelli, for example, sing in operas, but he performs operatic arias along with other music in concert. So it's a
Yeah.
different sort of a, you know what I mean? It's a different, they're sort of, I always think of opera and classical music, that crossover music is sort of like a branch of that,
Mm.
and I'm sitting firmly on that branch now. So.